What is going on, fellas? Welcome back to another video here on my channel. We have a few clips we're going to be going over today. Before we get into that, I do want to make you aware I'm going to be doing some channel changes. Oh, that's a weird word. Channel changes. I'm working with a few guys. We're going to be doing titles, my descriptions, possibly even thumbnails in the future. Just giving you guys a heads up. YouTube is doing some sort of weird suppression thing that these guys told me about this recently. I don't really know what's going on. I don't know a whole lot about it. It seems like I only have just enough time to kind of make videos, edit videos, post them, and then I'm working 2 jobs right now, so I have a lot of time that I'm just away from my computer and stuff, but they're going to be helping me with that. So you will be seeing a few changes around on this channel, but other than that, everything's going to be the same. And with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and let's get into these clips. If you could go ahead and like the video, subscribe. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button. Hey, how's it going? My name is Rat Boy. Let's do it.
Something that nobody prepared me for is once you meet the right man, all of a sudden you become 20 times more feminine. I was so in my masculine in all my previous relationships, and now I'm like a little princess. I saw this Instagram reel where this woman was talking about her morning routine with her husband because he used to go to work at like 5 a.m. So she gets up at like 4:30 to cook him breakfast before he goes. And then in this video, he is doting all over her. Like, clearly he loves his woman. And then you go to the comments and all these pessimistic women that like clearly have not met the right man are like, I would never do this. My man is a grown man. He can do it.
I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist. Thank you. Now watch this drive.
Well, that's because that the TikTok that these women are seeing, where the woman is being feminine and the man is being a good husband and it's a perfect life, they are jealous. They want that. They want that so bad, and they would probably do anything to get it at this point. A lot of women, they say they don't want it. They say they're happy single, but then again, I mean, just look back at some of my videos. Do these women really look that happy to you? Honestly? Is screaming into your phone in the front seat of your minivan while kids are crying in the back, your hair is a mess, you look like you just rolled out of a dumpster. These women do not look very happy. Okay, and that's just from an observation point. We really we have no idea what's going on in these women's lives. But in my opinion, if you have to record yourself online, post a video online telling other people how happy you are, it doesn't really seem like you're too happy. That's just my opinion, observation.
Do that him damn self. Do you realize that some women just like want to do that when they meet the right guy? Trust me, if I had seen that video last year or 2 years ago, I'd have been like, what the? I would never. Girl, wait until you meet the right man that is so masculine, you want to be feminine.
What you did is you went against the hive mind. Okay, these women, they go against the hive mind. It crushes their delusion, this sort of reality they live in where all men are evil and all this stuff. It crushes that because they actually see a man that is a good guy. There's a lot of good men out there. Are they all super attractive? Are they all 6'4", or do they all make 6 figures? No, absolutely not. That's insane. That's delusional. Okay, the odds are not going to happen for that. But there are plenty of happy couples out there. Plenty of them. Are there plenty of happy couples that have modern women? No. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of women out there, but you have to get away from these women that are chronically online. They're posting pictures to Instagram for these random men to like and comment on, and they're on Snapchat snapping other random men, and it's just, you have to get away from that. You have to get away from that. Okay, if you have a woman that is distracted by other men trying to get in her inbox, get in her DMs, and always try to talk to her, then she's not going to have any time for you. And I suggest you just leave her with those other men and go find you a woman that is actually going to take you serious.
When a woman finally decides to walk away, there is absolutely nothing you can do. I wish more people understood just how common this relationship narrative is. The woman thinks the man is going to change, and then he never does. And the man thinks the woman will never leave, but eventually she gets sick and fed up, and she finally does. And the way she rationalizes this is she thinks that if she continues to forgive him again and again, he's going to realize what a ride or die she is. And then finally he's going to step up and be the man she needs him to be.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
We're going to dive a little bit deeper into this discussion. I have another clip after this, and it's going to kind of clear things up. Men do not think these women are never going to leave. By this point, whenever these women decide that they do not care in the relationship anymore, these men are already checked out. These men are already checked out. They're not going to initiate a divorce because they don't want to lose their assets. They're kind of stuck. So they check out. Okay. They just do not care anymore. There are a lot of men in situations like this. You know, there could possibly be a lot of women in situations like this as well. Okay. But to sit there and grandstand and say that, oh, well, this relationship is falling apart because he decided not to change, that is just not factual. In a lot of instances, if you were to talk to these men, there are a lot of things that those women needed to change as well, but those changes never took place. And what happens is you have resentment build up. Whenever this man is breaking his back, he's twisting himself, he's bending so much that he's about to break in order to keep this relationship afloat. All the while, the woman is doing everything she can in order to sink it to the bottom of the ocean. So this is usually what happens. This is the dynamic. But the rhetoric online for women is, oh, well, you know, women stop trying because the men stop caring and the men don't change. And in a lot of instances, it is the man that wants to stay in the marriage. It is the man that tries. The woman is she's already gone. You know, she's usually cheating at that point, seeing other men anyways.
When actually what he's really thinking is, if she's forgiving me, then what I'm doing can't possibly be that bad. And so it happens over and over again. And each time she forgives him, she actually respects him a little bit less and a little bit less. In fact, over time, she grows to hate him, and she actually grieves a relationship while they're still together. And so finally, when she does gain the courage to leave, she's gone, and she's gone for good, because what she thinks to herself is, I gave this relationship my absolute all, and at least I know that I left no stone unturned. And
I'm gonna have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
They never give it their all, by the way, though. You know, you can look back in many of the videos I made where these women, not only are they not giving the relationship their all, but they're usually in another relationship with another dude during all this. So their attention is on another man anyways. So they're not giving anything their all. And then if you look at any of these marriage counselors where they've had a man and a woman come and sit down in front of them and they've had marriage counseling, it is always the women who stops the marriage counseling because the therapist seems to strike a nerve to some of these women whenever she starts to point the finger at them and hold them accountable for their actions. So this is just your typical woman pushing the accountability onto the man. It's always the man's fault. The woman tried her hardest. She did everything she could do, you guys. She did everything she could do, you know, because in a marriage, it's the man's fault that it falls apart. But we're going to go ahead and finish this one up, and it's going to be a little bit clearer in the next clip.
so now I can move on, be at peace with that decision, where the guy will say, oh, she'll be back. Yeah, just like your dad with the milk. I don't fucking think so. When she's gone for good. She might have left the city. She might have even left the country. And then what happens is she swears off men. She's celibate.
You blew it. Fish.
She doesn't swear off men. She doesn't have a choice. A lot of these women are well past in their 40s, 50s. They try to date. They definitely try to date, and they try to find a man to settle down with. But these men are only using these women for the nighttime activities, which is what I say. You know, you have a divorced woman, you have a woman that's a single mom or stuff, recreational use only. You do not want to invite these women into your home. Don't even let them know where you live. Honestly, it's a risk altogether. If you want to hang out with them, you know, maybe you can go to their place or get a hotel room or whatever. That's perfectly fine. But once you start involving these unhinged women that have been done wrong by all these different dudes, you're just inviting chaos into your life. You really are.
Are y'all familiar with quiet quitting, where people who are still employed with a company just mentally check out? They might show up for the job, but they're not really giving it their all. They don't care as much. That same concept happens in marriages, and it's got a name. It's called walkaway wife syndrome. Don't let the labels scare you. The word syndrome is not a medical term. It's just a set of behaviors that someone exhibits when they're seemingly ready to walk away in a marriage.
What? What the fuck? Stop it. Get some help.
In case you haven't guessed, that's what the previous clip was about as well. She was talking about this walkaway wife syndrome, which supposedly a lot of wives get. And in case you didn't need another reason to never get married, which is something I say over and over again, never get married. Now you have to deal with walkaway wife syndrome, which is basically them just deciding that they want to divorce you and take half your shit.
The first one is a disinterest in sex. It's pretty common in marriage for the amount of sex to decline, especially for longer marriages. But if there's zero desire, zero initiation, and just a turning away from intimacy in the relationship, that could be a sign. The second one is lust.
it's not a disinterest. What they do is they start holding that hostage to manipulate their husbands. So that it's not about a disinterest, because they're definitely giving their bodies to someone else. It's not their husband. It's usually to a different dude, but they're using that as leverage to get what they want and to manipulate their husband. It happens all the time. It happens in a lot of marriages. A lot of wives think that this is perfectly fine. They think that, oh, well, you know, this man is supporting me financially. He's doing all of his husband duties, and I can restrict all of my wifely duties and promises. And it's perfectly fine because it's my body, my choice. Although the man has to keep providing for his family, because if he doesn't, then he's a, scumbag, dirtbag, piece of shit.
Lack of effort. If there used to be a lot of contribution to the house, whether that was cleaning or cooking or just scheduling some time together, and all of that goes away, there's a quiet quitting happening there.
This lack of effort is usually because she is concentrating on other things. A lot of times it is, other men. Let's be honest. These women aren't working. These women are not working. They're at home all day with the kids. They're dropping the kids off at grandma's house, and she's hitting it up with Chad at the 1 p.m. Brunch and fuck. So this happens. This is some of you guys are probably out there thinking this is a joke, thinking that this isn't reality, that women don't do this. Wives do this. Wives definitely do this. Every single wife out there at one point was a 304, and they never get that out of their system. Actually, they tend to go back. They tend to revert back to that. They'll want to be the wife and be the mom, and then in their 40s they'll want to go back into the streets and kind of whore it out. So what are you gonna do? Which is the best way to tackle a situation like this is to just avoid them, stay away from them, don't marry them, don't live with them. It's the easiest way. Because you're going to deal with, why would any guy want to deal with this?
The third one is where the wife starts to live a separate life. It might start out with just picking up a new hobby and, reconnecting with an old friend, or
getting her back blown out by a coworker, or meeting random dudes behind a dumpster and giving them a Charlie Brown.
Time goes on, more and more of her time is spent, one, outside of the house, and two, not with the spouse. Which leads me to the fourth one. There is no longer consideration for doing things together like date nights or incorporating the spouse into the plans. The wife is really thinking about an independent life outside of the marriage. She wants her time, her space, and that is not included with the spouse. The last one is if the wife seems unbothered. So if there used to be a back and forth and fighting where both of you were putting in your effort to try to convince each other your point of view or why you were feeling a certain way, and all of the fights end with the wife literally walking away and not.
Do you know why? And then this might cut deep for a few of y'all out there, but after divorces, men are usually sadder than the women are. It's true. It's absolutely true. Men are usually a little bit sadder than the women are. But when you think about it, that's because the men actually cared. The men were actually, in a lot of cases, the men were in love with these women. These women just did not care about these men at all. A lot of them were looking, to marry these dudes for a certain type of lifestyle. Maybe they were looking to maybe divorce and get a quick check. Maybe they were tired of paying rent. Maybe, whatever reasons these women give themselves to get involved with these men, it is always for selfish reasons. It is never for the reason of caring for that person or wanting to be with that person or wanting to spend time with that person. That's why it's so easy for them to do things like restrict bedroom activities, do things outside of the home with other men without the husband's knowledge, obviously, not putting effort into the marriage. These are all things that a person does when they just don't care about the other person. Now, men will never do this. If this was common with men, then these men would just leave. They would just leave, and they would just take their shit and leave. Supposedly these men have all of the resources to do stuff like that, but they don't. They always stick around. That's because they care. That's because they actually care. Okay, this fake conditional, it's a very conditional love that women have. It really is. They really just do not care about you unless you are doing everything they want the exact moment they want you to do it. And if you don't do it, then you're fucked. And then you got to deal with stuff like this. Walk away wife syndrome. The wife is walking away, you guys. Let her walk away. Let her walk into traffic. How about that? That sounds even better. She made it seem like these men just, this lady right here, she made it seem like these men are blindsided, like these men just want these women to come back. They're waiting for these women to come back into their life. These men do not care. These men have checked out a long time ago. Okay, these men are going to try to save as much money as they can by not initiating a divorce. They're going to get their finances in order as best as they can and just wait for the divorce papers to come through. That's what these men do. That's the only thing these men can do, is some sort of quick kind of protection of the assets type of situation, and then wait for the papers, sign the papers, get reamed, and move on with their life. That is the ending of most marriages in the modern world. You know, these men are not in a situation where they're waiting for these women to come back into their life. That would be the last thing these men would want. These men are tired of these women. A lot of times, ask any guy that's been divorced, ask him if he would ever get back with his ex-wife. I would say 100% of them would say hell no. And then ask them how many of them would get married again. And I'm pretty sure a majority of them would still say hell no. Okay. These men that have been through divorces, they know it's a headache. It's a hassle. They are content living alone. They're content doing their own thing. And the last thing they would want is the woman that made their life a living hell to come crawling back into their life. That's just the way I see it. But let me know what you guys think. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think about walk away wife syndrome. What does that mean to you? I think it's just a load of bullshit. This is one of those terms that women create, these coping terms to justify them being pieces of shit. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Leave me a comment down below. Like the video, share the video, subscribe if you're new, and I will catch you guys later. Rat Boy out.